Hi, I'm Rachel from My Stampin' Haven. Thank you very much for joining me for another YouTube tutorial. Today we're going to be making this flower box. This is using the hardwood background stamp as well as the Fringe Scissors and the Sizzix flower die. All of these products are from the Occasions mini catalogue, which is current until the 30th of June. So let's get started. I've got a piece of cardstock here. This is baked brown sugar, one of the in colours for 2013-2015, and we're going to be scoring that one. So I'll just bring across my trimmer. I haven't invested in one of the scoreboards yet, but that is on my to-do list, so hopefully in the next couple of videos that I upload, I'll have a scoreboard. So starting with the metric measurements, we will be scoring at 7 centimetres, 14, 21, and 28 centimetres. Now in imperial measurements, that's 2 3/4, 5 1/2, 8 1/4, and 11 inches. I'll just pop that aside. What we do next is we need 4 pieces of cardstock, again in the baked brown sugar. Now they need to be 13 by 2.5 centimetres, which is 5 1/8 by 1 inch, and they will be the leg supports for the flower box. They're about 2 centimetres bigger than the box itself, just to give it a bit of height. Okay. So with these, you need to score them at 1/2 inch lengthways. So basically score them in half. Okay, so now that that's done, what we will do now is just put the trimmer aside, and I'm going to bring over the hardwood background stamp. This is it here. This is fast becoming one of my most favourite stamp sets from this year's releases. I don't get a chance to use it much, but I thought it would look really good on this, so I decided to pull it out and have a go. And the ink I'm using is baked brown sugar, again from the 2013 to 2015 in colour range. So what you need to do is, this is a clear mount one, so you'll need your biggest clear block. So this is the block that we need, and that is block F. That's the largest one. On my blocks I've got the cling mount strategically placed guides, which do help the clear mounts cling a little bit better. So we'll just line that up, give it a good even pressure. I usually like to press down from the top of the stamp as well, just in case there's any air bubbles. Okay, now with your background stamps, it's easier to lay them down and pat your pad over the top of them. Okay. So just keep doing that all along that piece of paper. Okay, so we've done the wood grain stamp on that, so I'll just put that aside. You also need to do the wood grain stamp on the legs as well. So you might find it easier lining up all the legs in one go, because if you aim it just right, you should be able to hit all 4 legs with that stamp. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just grab a sponge dauber. Now I've already got one here designated for my baked brown sugar, so I'll just bring that over, and I'm just going to start sponging the edges just to give it a bit of an aged look. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just start folding along the score lines on this cardstock here, and then we'll just start sealing up our box. And I'm just using Tombow for this. This is my go-to glue. I use it for almost everything. I find it's really got quite a good strong hold. It's a little messy if you're not used to liquid glue, but I find it does have a really good hold on it. So just kind of run your bone folder in there just to seal that down a bit more. So once that box is done, what we need to do then is start folding the legs along their score lines. So once you've done that, you can now start sticking the legs on each of the corners. Now, because these are 2 centimetres longer than the box, you'll want to try and aim for an even centimetre on each end. So on your grid paper, you've got inches on one side and centimetres on the other. So this piece of paper that I've got on here is centimetres, and just on the back is inches. So I'm just going to use this to get a even marker. Okay, so just run a small trail of Tombow along the edge, and just line up your leg, and then stick it on. And do that with all 4 sides. Now for the inserts of this, it's virtually the same as a card in a box, where you have little inserts that are glued in. So we've got a few inserts over here, and these are 9.5 by 2.5 centimetres, which is 3 3/4 by 1 inch. We're just going to score those at 1.2 centimetres on each end, which is 1/2 inch. So now I'm going to start pasting them in. For this particular step, I would probably be more inclined to use sticky strip or mini glue dots. So I've got my mini glue dots here, and just 2 on each side of these should be more than enough. So once that's done, you can now start doing the grass. Now for the grass, I've used old Olive cardstock. So we'll put this aside and we'll just bring the cardstock over. And for the grass, each one of these strips is 7 by 10 centimetres, which is 2 3/4 by 3 15/16. And I've got 6 of these. So what I'm going to do is bring over my fringe scissors. These are the fringe scissors. They're in the occasions catalogue at the moment, and they've got 10 blades so that they cut multi-fringe all at once. So just grab the fringe scissors and cut down, open the blades up as much as you can and cut down as deep as you can without cutting right to the edge of the tip of these scissors. If you cut to the very tip with the scissors, you'll find that it crimps it slightly at the end and they lose a bit of stability. So what you want to do is try not to cut right to the end so that you get nice sharp lines. So once you've cut those, you can now start sticking them in. So one on each of the inserts that you've stuck in, and one on the back panel and one on the front panel. Once that's done, you can just sort of start smushing down the grass just to give it a bit of a lifelike appearance. So what we need to do now is do the spiral flowers that are on the top. So for that you will need some more cardstock because we'll be doing 5 of these. So the cardstock I'm using is Crisp Cantaloupe. This is from the 2013-2015 in colour range. And you'll need the Sizzix flower die. That's the Sizzix flower die. So bring your big shot over and we'll start cutting those flowers. So once you've cut your flowers, what you need to do is start breaking the fibres so that they curl easy. So grab your bone folder and from the small end, just start gently bending it or curling it around the bone folder until you get to the very centre. So do that with all of those flower die cuts you've done. Once you've broken the fibres of your cardstock, your flowers should start to take shape. So what you can do now is start hot gluing them into shape. This bit here will be the bottom of your flower, so just start hot gluing them. After you've done your flowers, then you can start sticking them into your box. Now with the original one I've used florist wire and I've just hot glued it inside the box. You can use florist foam. I have 20 gauge florist wire here that I have cut to various lengths, and there is 5, one for each flower. So just take your die cut spiral flowers and start hot gluing the florist wire on the bottom. So once you've hot glued the wire onto the bottom of your flowers, you can then start hot gluing them into place just in your box. So once you've glued your flowers in, it should look like this. So what we need to do now is just tie a bit of nice ribbon around it, and the ribbon I'm using is the Stretch Ruffle trim in Crisp Cantaloupe. And there we have it. The Spiral Flower flower pot with the hardwood stamp, the Fringe Scissors and the Spiral Flower die. Thank you very much for joining me for this YouTube tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you look forward to the next one as much as I do.